Now, many of you will know by now that Nio sell premium EV cars. What it means is that Nio cars, ladies and gents, because they are premium, they are cars that cannot be afforded by anyone. I mean, when you talk of Nio, you must talk of Mercedes-Benz, you must talk of Audi, you must talk of BMW. You cannot talk Nio and then you are talking Xpeng. You cannot talk about Nio and then you are talking about BYD. These two cars are not, yes, they are both EV cars, but they are not in the same segment. Nio cars are premium, Nio cars are quite pricey, and therefore they cannot be afforded by the mass market, which is one thing that we tend to forget, especially when it comes to the performance or into the sales that Nio is getting on a month to month. But with this said, ladies and gents, if you have to have a look at the entire premium EV market or into the luxury EV market, Nio, the last time I checked, I think it was around April, they had 40% market share in the premium EV range of vehicles over 300,000 RMB. This means that when you look into these kind of cars that Nio is selling on average, ladies and gents, price wise, Nio has got majority of the market share, which means that they are doing well when we look only on that category. Yes, when you compare to maybe all the categories, you will see as if Nio is not performing or it's not selling as the others, but we tend to forget that this is a premium brand that sells premium EVs, which cannot be afforded by a lot of people. Now with that, ladies and gents, today we read some good news coming out of Shanghai, and that is, of course, the total sales that Nio sold when it compared to other cars or premium cars that are over 300,000 RMB. I mean, as seen on the screen, you notice that in Shanghai, for the month of May, Nio had a total of 1,790 sales, which they generated in one city, and that is in Shanghai, which is something that is pretty exciting because this shows you that Nio continues to dominate. And you will notice Mercedes-Benz having 1,000, just over 1,600. It consists of mostly their gas cars, of which seeing Nio dominating like this shows you that Nio not only is it doing well in their premium EV space, but it is also starting to sell even much better, or it is outpacing even the gas cars that these premium brands are selling in the cities, which is something that is pretty exciting because as you see on the screen, the second best selling of course premium brand was Mercedes-Benz with just over 1,600 vehicles sold in Shanghai, which, like I said, most of these are gas cars, and to get to see that Nio it's selling more than them in Shanghai, it's something that is pretty exciting, especially that Nio it's selling EV cars. Now the third place, you've got BMW with almost 1,400 sales, and here also on the BMW side, sales consist of course gas and EV cars, but mostly gas, which is something that having to see Nio once again selling more than these brands that are selling also gas cars there, it makes me to be really excited to say that Nio is doing well. So you will know that the Nio CEO, I think just yesterday, was talking about how well models like the ES6 are doing well in cities like Shanghai. These are some of the models that are making Nio to really have some good sales in Shanghai. You will know that when you talk of the Nio ES6, since inception to date, it constitutes to around 40% of Nio's total sales, which is something that shows you of how important this model is to Nio, or the kind of success that this model brought into Nio, which is something that, of course, it is pretty exciting when you see cars like the ES6 performing the way they are, and they've been consistent throughout. I mean, since inception, there were other models that were launched, but none of the models are selling as good as this model. So Shanghai, I'm not surprised. I won't be surprised, in fact, to see that majority of these sales that Nio generated in May, of course, were the ES6. In fact, on those deliveries, or 20,544 deliveries that Nio generated in May, we already know that over 8,000 of those sales were constituted by of course, the ES6, which is something that shows you the kind of a performance the ES6 is able to produce, or it produced, which is just so outstanding. I mean, kudos for Nio to produce the kind of a model like the ES6, because it is the model that is making them scope so many sales. So yes, man, Shanghai, we saw Nio sales leading, of course, all the other top premium brands in Shanghai, which is something that is pretty exciting. I mean, have a look at Lioro only sold 338, Lexus 388, Volvo 548, Audi 1301. This shows you that Nio, ladies and gents, the over 1700 sales that Nio scoped were pretty good, pretty decent. And I will stress this again, these sales they consist of all the models that these cars sold in Shanghai. So for the other brands, it includes the gas cars also, which is something that is pretty exciting to see. Nio, of course, selling more than the gas cars, because you will know that there are so many people that are still not comfortable owning EV cars because of the insufficient of course, charging infrastructure, insufficient services that they get when they are driving their EVs, which is something that to get to see Nio scoping this kind of sales, it is pretty exciting. I hope we get to see Nio continue with this momentum in Shanghai. And once again, you will know that when it comes to vehicles or EV cars with price tags of over 300,000, Nio still got 40% of the total market share, which is something that is pretty exciting. Most of the models that Lioro is selling are not full EVs, are hybrid cars, and therefore it is for that reason why some of you I know might be asking, what about Lioro? Lioro sells mostly hybrid cars. They are just starting to sell, I think, EV cars now, and it is for that reason that you must I think applaud Nio for the kind of sales that they are scoping, looking at the kind of cars and how much they cost. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I'm happy. The stock price, at least as I'm doing this video, it's on a green. And yeah, man, insurance registration, I know they were a bit disappointing, but as I've said, I think we expected too much, or I expected too much from Nio, and now I think we can all agree that Nio will deliver indeed somewhere between 18 and 20,000 based on the kind of insurance registrations that are coming. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I just thought I'd just give you this quick updates. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, comment and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to hit or click that notification bell so that at least you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And before you buy Nio stock for the very first time, do your own due diligence. Don't listen to the short sellers, so that at least you can be comfortable either when you buy or increase your holdings onto this stock. Otherwise, that's all from me, and God bless you all.